Great. Now just once confirm if I am audible and screen is there's some problem.
Yeah, it's audible, sir.
Okay. Am I audible and visible perfectly? Great.
Yes.
So
Yes,
let's start. Let's start. Yeah. So today's class is very, very important. I believe that that is the class everyone was waiting for, because today we are going to talk about how to write the manuscript. Till now we have seen a lot of backup things like types of manuscripts, what are the components of manuscripts, and then yesterday, before writing the manuscript, we need literature search. So we had very wonderful class on literature search by Dr. Siddesh yesterday. So today's class is on how to write an acceptable manuscript. So what do you mean by acceptable manuscript, guys? What do you mean by acceptable manuscript? Please tell me if you know. So what do you think this acceptable manuscript would be? Everyone. What do you understand by acceptable manuscript? Anyone wants to put on comment? Acceptable manuscript is nothing but your manuscript should be that good that journals and the reviewers have no problem, or maybe the minor problems, and they accept. So your manuscript is meeting all the requirements of journal. Not only the journal, you can meet the requirement of the journal by writing anything, because journals, they don't ask for anything special. They just want to ensure that your manuscript is written within the word limit, and you are citing the references in the certain given way. So those are the things you can meet easily. But acceptable manuscript means the manuscript have certain parameters which you are working on, and which should meet the scientific criteria. So what are those scientific criteria? Let me tell you. Okay, so you are pro in writing. Okay, first of all, when you are writing the manuscript, you should be pro in the writing. Writing means your grammar must be good, your scientific writing, your scientific skills must be good. Scientific writing is different than the English writing. Okay, definitely, English is used because in India we use English articles only. We don't use Hindi articles. In case of pharmacy and medical, or maybe the technology or management, we may need Hindi, or some languages if we are working about or working on the art or literature. But when we are talking about the science, when we are talking about the scientific writings, we need English, and our English must be very good, right? So English must be very good means that we should have a good knowledge of the punctuation, we should have the good knowledge of sentences, we should have good knowledge of grammar and spellings, right? And then we should know how to frame the sentences easily and correctly, right? So those things are very important to keep in mind. And other than that, the important part when I'm talking about the acceptable manuscript, that is the scientific weightage. Okay, scientific weightage means if you are addressing the issue, that issue must be addressed in such a way that it is given with those objectives. Like if I'm talking about economic burden of the heart failure in certain population, right? So I must ensure and I must cover all the parameters which are needed in the healthcare burden, or the health economics of heart failure, right? And I should keep most of the things like statistics properly. I should justify my study properly in the discussion. I should give the results perfectly, which are perfectly acceptable in form of either tables or the figures. So whatever I am choosing, like if I'm presenting something like in the pie chart, so that criteria should follow the pie chart criteria. What I'm telling is, see, if I am distributing my population in gender, male and female, right? So that gender equality or the equal number of genders would reach up to 100%, and then we can make the pie chart. If I'm talking about certain other parameters like etiology, or certain other parameters like what we say comorbidities or sign and symptoms, then I should present those in histogram, right? So what I'm telling is, when I am talking about statistics, when I'm talking about the written part, when I'm talking about the representation, that should be accurate. Okay, that should be accurate, and absolutely you should justify your study, you should justify your objectives perfectly, and it should be well connected, right? It should be well connected. And if you remember our second class, then if you remember our second class, I am very sure that perfect manuscript or acceptable manuscript is which is meeting the internal criteria. Okay, internal criteria of validity. So internal validity must be ensured, must be met when we are talking about writing an acceptable manuscript. The internal criteria means your methodology should be neat and clean, and it should be perfectly addressing the objectives, and your objectives are perfectly addressing your aim, and your aim is perfectly addressing the title. Okay, and then you are addressing the content, whatever is there in the in the body of the manuscript, that should meet your objectives. See, I'm not just talking about the original manuscripts or original articles, I'm talking about all type of articles. If you're writing a review paper, your review paper must have an objective, right? On what basis you are writing the review paper, on what basis you are deciding the body, or on what basis you are decided to compile the data and publish it in the review form, right? So those all things should be clear and neat, and should get published, should be accepted by the journal. So that's nothing but about the acceptable manuscript, and I'll be telling you, I'll be describing the things in the upcoming slides. So we are talking about how to write an acceptable manuscript. So we'll be focusing today, we'll be focusing on the write-up of case reports, and we'll be talking about original report, original research papers. We'll be talking about reviews and systematic reviews and meta-analysis, and we'll be talking about commentary, perspective, and opinion. And if you are thinking that I'll be describing one by one everything, no, I'll be talking about the components, I'll be talking about the perfect picture, I'll be telling you the steps what I follow. Okay, I'll be telling you the steps what I follow to write a manuscript, and how I can target the high impact factor journals, how I can target the good journals, index journals, and easily get it published, right? So those things I'll be talking about, and there is a same format for everything. Either you are writing a case report, original research paper, review, systematic review, meta-analysis, commentary, perspective, opinion, whatever you are going to write, there is a set of procedures, there is a set of steps. Okay, so those steps I will tell you today, right? And I'll be explaining those things in the simple words so you can easily understand. Now, what is a good paper? Okay, I was telling about acceptable manuscript. So that is a good paper. Acceptable manuscript means it will turn up into a good paper when it is getting published. So first of all, why we publish the papers? We publish the papers to fulfill our academic requirement. Either you are a student, or you are an academician, you are a scientist, you are the researcher, you have to fulfill some requirements, right? Like if you are a student, then for your degree purpose. If you are a PharmD student, then in the 5th year, maybe you have to write the thesis on the project base, and then you may have to publish. Certain institutions, they are very strict of publishing the manuscripts. If you are the M.Pharm student, if you are the other PhD students, you have to publish some papers, 1 or 2 papers, submit the manuscripts to fulfill those academic requirements. Okay, slide is not shared, is it? Is it, guys? I'm very sure if it is.
So we can see.
Someone was writing that they cannot see the slides. Okay, no problem. I've shared again. That's fine. Wait.
It is visible, sir.
Okay, is it visible? What is a good paper?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Great, fantastic. Thank you. So, first of all, we need to fulfill some criteria on the academic basis. If we are a student, then we have to fulfill the publications criteria, or we have to fulfill the writing criteria to get our degree or the certificates, right? And then if you are academicians, then nowadays UGC is very strict to get some papers published to get you promoted to the next level, maybe from the assistant professor to associate professor, or associate professor to the senior associate, or to the professor, and then professor to the senior professor. And if you need some specific positions in the administration, then you have to do some research, right? Yeah, there is a very strict criteria from UGC, and you have to do the research to achieve your level, achieve your grades. And there are some incentives as well. When you are writing the papers, when you are publishing the papers, you have some incentives also, right? You get points or perks to attend the conferences. You need some perks to go out on the expenses of the college or university. So that all is connected with the research. Research means you are writing, you are publishing, and you are getting perks, and you are using those for your promotions, for your expenses, for the presentations in the conferences, as a travel grant or whatever, for the research grants as well, right? So that's why we all need to publish the papers. We all need to get it done, our research, right? But exactly, we know the Indian scenario. I mean, I should not comment on that, but literally everyone is not interested. Everyone is not interested, right? Only a few people are interested into the research. They want to do the research with the heart. They want to do the research like an activity, an interesting activity. But everyone, there are certain people who don't like the research, who are like, okay, we are good in teaching, we are good in clinicians are good in their practice. They are not very much interested in the research. Only a few people are interested in the research. But let me tell you guys, let me tell you my observations. Research is something which can take you to any position. Okay, which can take you to any position in academics and clinics or anywhere. See, India is very what we say, far away from top research rankings, except some institutions. I'll not say. Still, IISc, Indian Institute of Science, is #1 in the world for research. Okay, but if we accept the certain grades, if we look at the certain publications, H-index and top publications, those are from the outside, from the Europe and America, right? In different fields. IISc is still #1 in the world. Okay, that is globally #1 in the research. Okay, IISc Bangalore. But other than that, when we see our pharmaceutical research, when we see our patient care research, when we see when we look at the medical research, there is no, we are literally nowhere. We are not publishing the good papers. We are not conducting the good research, except some good researchers in India. Okay, so why is that? That is because of the interest, and that is because of the stringent policies of the UGC. That is the stringent. There are some stringent policies from the government side. There are some stringent policies from the university side, because you are forced to do the research, and when you are forced to do something which you don't like, you will be definitely fall out somewhere. Okay, either you will be doing some mischievous things, or you will be getting it done by someone else, or you will be publishing it somewhere where it's not indexed, or where the journals are not really great, right? And that's how you are doing the research work properly, maybe, but you are not getting it published somewhere where you should publish it, or where it is getting the good recognition, where it is getting the good audience, and it is reaching to the perfect audience and the people and the researchers, or the novel laureates, which can follow your research and which can follow you, right? So that's why we need to have some interest. At least if you are not interested, still I will say that what we say, raise some interest, and make it interesting, because this is something which you have to do if you are in the academics. Okay, you have to do it. If you are in the academics, you have to do it, right? So when now let's come to the point, the good paper. Okay, let's come to the point, good paper. So a good research manuscript, let me come up with the pointer. So a good research manuscript comes after the investment of these 6 very important skills. Okay, if you are writing a good paper, you have to start getting these. You have to develop these skills in you. Okay, you have to develop these skills in you. First of all, I'm talking about research. Okay, research does not mean only you are conducting the laboratory research, or you are conducting the community research, or the patient research. Okay, research here means, suppose you are let's start one by one. Suppose you are writing a research, suppose you are writing a case report. Let's start with the smallest one. Suppose you want to write a case report. So what is research in the case report? What type of research you need? You need the full-fledged research to get into the patient's medication records. Okay, patient's medical records, patient's history, patient's presentation to the hospital, patient's family history, patient's social history, right? And patients, what are the how he got presented to the hospital, maybe through the IPD, OPD, or from the ER, emergency room, right? And then how did the patient come to the hospital, right? And what was the preliminary diagnosis? How did was the preliminary diagnosis done? Okay, and how they have started the medicines based on the preliminary diagnosis, or maybe how the outcomes have come in the patient. What were the standard care of standard of care, if they followed the guidelines directed medical therapy or not. So there are certain fields, there are certain areas where you need to dive deep and do the research properly. You have to get those points which are missed, right? So that is your research skills if you're talking about case report. If I'm talking about a review paper, so review paper literature search is different in the review paper, because everything is depending on the review literature search. But before that, you have to find out the gap on which you are compiling the review paper. You have to find out the topic, you have to find out the title, you have to fix the title, you have to fix the objectives of the review paper on which you are doing the compilation of information, right? You have to get the outlines. So that's where you need the proper research skills, that's where you need the proper brain to invest in the research, right? If I'm talking about original articles, definitely you need research. You have to you have to come up with the methodology, you have to come up with the interventions, you have to come up with the study design, you have to come up with the statistical analysis, lot of things. So you must have good research skills when you are planning to write a good paper. When you are writing a good research manuscript, you need good research skills. Okay, then learning skills, very important. So you mean if you are doing a good research, you don't have learning skills? No, you have the learning skills. But what exactly learning skills means here? Learning skills means you should connect the dots properly. Okay, yesterday also I was talking about the outline. So when you are writing an outline, you may get all the topics, I mean the headings. Maybe when you are writing about the review paper, okay, when you are writing the outline for a review paper, you are writing about heart failure, you may get all the proper headings, like definition of heart failure and types of heart failure, management of heart failure, diagnosis of heart failure, and outcomes of heart failure. But if they are not in the sequence, if they are not in the sequence, if they are not connecting to each other, what's the use of writing the review paper? It will not make a sense and it will not be acceptable, right? So you should have the learning skills. Learning skills you should learn from the previous papers, you should learn from the top scholars, you should learn from your friends, you should learn from your guides, you should learn from your colleagues, you should learn from your acquaintances, right? So learning skills are very important. Okay, either you are learning from the lectures, online lectures, offline lectures, conferences, workshops, you should have the good learning skills and you should connect all the dots when you are writing a paper. Whether you are writing case report, there is a sequence, there is a connectivity, right? There are the connected dots, you have to follow that, right? You have to follow the outline. There is the outline for everything. Case report has its own outline, review papers has its own outlines, right? And original manuscripts has its own outlines. So you should learn how to connect the dots. That's why your learning skills must be really good. Then third thing, you must have seen yesterday how important is the literature search, how important is to fix the mess words, how important is to keep the Boolean operators. You must have seen yesterday, A and D, O, R, B, U, T, right? But, or, and, if. So these Boolean operators, where to keep, how to get the correct manuscripts, how to get the correct papers to cite in your research paper, on your research, in your review article, or in your original article, how to get the exact relevant papers from the literature, how I can avoid reading 1 million papers and I'm just getting 100 papers at the end to read. Those things will come when you have a great potential, when you know how to do a good literature search. So you should have a great potential of the literature search, great potential for the literature search. You should know what are the search engines where you can get your data, how to get the data, how to get the relevant references, how to get the relevant stuff, how to extract the information out of that. That's very important. When I'm talking about literature search, that's not only about searching the literature, how to get the information out of that, what kind of information you need for your paper, what kind of information exactly you need for your objectives, right? So that's important when I'm talking about potential for research literature. Okay, and then grammar skills. Definitely you need to write the perfect grammar. Perfect means, remember, I'll tell you some important tips you can write, or you can get it later also from the recordings. So first of all, when you are writing a research paper, any kind of research paper, if you are writing case report, if you're writing systematic review, if you're writing review paper, original research, anything, make it very, very simple. Okay, simple grammar you have to use. Don't use the complex grammar, don't use the complex terms, don't use the complex sentences, don't use the long sentences, don't use the things which no one can understand. Because why it is important to keep in mind, because you are not just addressing, or you are not just targeting the Nobel laureates or who are English native. You are targeting your own audience. If you are in India, definitely you are targeting your own audience. You are targeting the students who might be in the first year also, who are coming from the state boards, right? Who are not from the DPS, who are not from the CBSE or ICSC. You are targeting your audience, so you have to take care of the base audience. That's why always all the scientific literature, if you read, they are not at all complex to read. Simple words, small sentences, no jargons, all very simple. Just you should take care of the grammar. Your grammar must be correct, your sentences should be complete, your sentences should be sound, sentences should be good sound. Okay, and they should have a meaning. So that's all you need in the grammar. You don't need the complex grammar, you don't need the complex sentences, long sentences. Okay, you need simple grammar, simple observations, simple sentences, easy to understand sentences. That's all you need in the grammar. And spelling mistakes, you have to avoid the spelling mistakes. That's all. Okay, and then thought process is very important. Thought process is about what you have to write. We got the research skills, we got the learning skills, we got the literature, we got the grammar, but now what you have to write, that's also important, right? When I'm thinking, see, suppose I read one line related to heart failure. Okay, somewhere in Madagascar, in Africa, somewhere it has written that the prevalence of heart failure was 90% there. Okay, in any population, 90% of the population had heart failure. In some paper it has written, one line has written like Madagascar, or I mean something, whatever, I'm just giving an example. This population has 90% of the heart failure prevalence. And when I'm reading US papers, I'm reading Europe papers, when I'm reading Indian papers, Asian papers, I'm seeing the prevalence is somewhere around 12 to 30%, or 12 to 36%, or 35%. I should keep my mind what I have to write. I will not quote that 90% because that is unusual. I may get into the more research. I may find out why it is what it is. I should get into that paper more deeper, and find out why it is happening, what kind of population they took, what kind of inclusion exclusion criteria was there, right? So I have to get deeper. When I'm seeing something unusual, I will not just pick and quote it, because that is my responsibility to think over it. That is where I have to keep my thought process. That is where I have to run my mind, my brain. So thought process must be very, very important to connect here with your information, whatever you are quoting, whatever you are citing in your paper. right? So your thought process must be really good when you are writing a research paper, when you are doing it, when you are conducting a research anywhere, your thought process must be really good. And then writing skills, definitely your writing skills, as I told, simple sentences, no jargons, and those writing process is, your writing skills must be really good. So you don't get in every manuscript you don't get one comment that go to the native speakers like me and publish it again. So like me, you should not get the comments. That's not a big deal actually. Your grammar skills are not a big deal, writing skills are not a big deal until and unless it's very bad and no one is able to read it. Okay, so you just need to focus. Still, when we are talking about a good paper, it should have these all the skills, and you should invest those skills, and you should if you are writing your paper including these things and following these things, your paper must be coming out to publish in the first rank papers, first rank journals like Q1 or Q2, or like those high impact factor journals. Okay, so that's how we write the good papers. Now there are certain steps. That is the important thing, how to write the paper. We got to know what must be there when we are writing a good paper, but how to do it, what is the exact scenario when we start writing, what is the exact process, what are the exact steps to follow when we are talking about research writing or the paper writing, right? So we usually when we are thinking of a review paper, or when we are thinking of systematic review or original paper or case report, we usually come up with I have taken these steps by I have written these steps by with my experience only. They are not available anywhere, but I only follow these steps, and these steps I feel are one of the wonderful thing what I observed and I follow. So you also can follow these steps if you really like those. All right, so I divided actually these steps into four major parts. Okay, so four major parts, and there are total 14 steps. Okay, there are total 14 steps, but majorly, if I'm talking about, there are four parts. Okay, one is the planning part, second is the writing part, and third is the proofreading part, and fourth is the submitting part. Okay, fourth is the post writing submission process. Okay, that's how you will get all your paper writing done. Okay, your paper will be written by these steps, and you will be wonderfully getting a wonderful, or if we say tremendously good manuscript at the end. Okay, so let me show you one by one, let me explain one by one. First we are into the planning step. Okay, first we are into the planning part, and in the planning part it takes majority of the time. Okay guys, as I'm telling, as everyone say, that planning part is important, and you should give most of the time to the planning part, right? So in the planning part, I'll show you there are major six steps. So first step is, if you are getting an idea, okay, either by yourself or maybe by someone else, or maybe from the subject expert, or an assignment, first thing will be your idea, your topic, I mean your idea of the research. First of all, the first thing you have to do is sit and think of get familiar with that idea, right? Suppose if it is your own interest. Okay, let's talk that I have written three slices with the two slices, three items: interest, assignment, or subject. Suppose I'm talking about my interest, you can talk about your interest. Okay, so my interest is cardiology, my interest is diabetology. Okay, young diabetes, specifically if I take that is young diabetes in less than 25 years of the age people. And if I talk about cardiology, my specific interest is heart failure. Okay, so when I'm talking about my interest, I have to get it familiar. If I just go and tell I got cardiology in my mind to do my research, let's start. No. If I tell, oh, I got heart failure in my mind to write one paper, let's start writing a paper on heart failure. No, not at all. If you're getting some assignment from someone, okay, Ajit, you have to write the paper on this heart failure, or suppose diabetes or anything. just go and write. No, I'll not write. That's my theory. If you are getting a subject from your guide or from your someone subject, do that. No, I will not do that directly. So first of all, I will get familiar with the interest, whatever I got, or with the assignment, whatever I was, I'm supposed to do, or the subject in which I have to work on. I will read about it. I will understand it. I will try to understand, try to find out what exactly this is, what I have to do, how I have to do, right? I have to find out the, like what kind of literature I will search, what kind of things I will do, what will be the outline. Maybe I will not write outline right away, but I'll think of like how much time it will take. What are the instructions given? What's the timeline given? Okay, what will be the timelines when I have to complete it? And what is the exact subject says? Okay, so I have to talk, I have to think of everything. I have to get familiar with the subject. Okay, then out of that subject, out of that assignment, out of that, my interest, I will get a research topic or research question. So this step is a big deal. Okay, this step is literally a big deal, because here you have to put a lot of brain. Here you have to put your 100% thought process. Here you need to think a lot. Choose a research topic or the question. Why? Because when I'm talking about cardiology or heart failure, I cannot directly start writing on heart failure. I cannot directly start writing on diabetes, or I cannot directly start writing on pharmacology or whatever topic I get, any subject. Why? Because the research might have been done a lot, right? So I have to go through the literature. I have to get it familiar. I have to find out what exactly is the gap. I have to find out where the research has not been done, what is left behind, what I can do, what is feasible for me, right? Those things are important. Keep in mind, you can write that, you can make a notes later. Okay, you have to keep in mind that if the subject is feasible or not, if I can do it or not, if there is sufficient timeline or not, and when I'm searching a topic, if it is fit with the gap or not, if it is justified or not, if it is something novel or not, right? Those you have to keep in mind, and then you have to get it narrowed to an extent where you find at least something which is new, something which is novel, something which has not been done before. Okay, you have to narrow down, right? You cannot just write about heart failure, because heart failure is something you can write 5-volume book on heart failure. Literally, I'm telling you, if you talk about heart failure, you can write 5-volume book on heart failure only. Heart failure sign and symptoms, history, definition, guidelines, their management, their sign and symptoms, and then their types, their different anomalies, complications, etiology, lot of things, lot of research, updates, multiple things are there, right? New therapy, old therapy, first line therapy, 6 hours therapy, 12 hours therapy, okay, acute therapy, chronic heart failure therapy, acute heart failure therapy, inotropes, diuretics, thousands of things, heart failure transplant devices, a lot of things are there, right? So you cannot just go with the flow. You have to get your topic narrowed. You have to get a topic or the question which is feasible at the end, right? If I'm talking about heart failure, I'll think of what I can do. If I can do about diagnosis, if I can do about management, and management also, which category of drug I can do, which drug is new, if I want to do something new, what kind of study I want to do. If I want to do a case report, if I want to do maybe the original research may, what I can do if the cohort study, or maybe the case control study, or interventional trial, or case series, or whatever. You have to think a lot, and then you have to come up with the research topic or question. So how to get the research topic and question? Once you are done with all the feasibility check, that's all what I'm talking about is the feasibility check, right? When I'm done with the feasibility check, you have to define the question, or you have to define the topic. Okay, how you will define the topic? You will define the topic as Dr. Siddesh yesterday told, about the guidelines, or about with the guidelines called PICO. PICO, right? If it is your review paper, if it is your original research paper, if it is your systematic review paper, if it is your meta-analysis, no case reports. I'm not talking about case report because case report says only one case, right? If we are talking about a review paper, systematic review, meta-analysis, or original research paper, you have to decide the topic based on the PICO. Means there would be some kind of population, right? Maybe animal population, human population. In human population, what kind of disease you are taking, if you are taking only males, gender, whatever, inclusion criteria. So P means your population. You have to find out which kind of population you are taking, then what kind of intervention or comparison you are taking. I, PICO, right? Intervention means you are talking about the drug, you are talking about the procedure, you are talking about the diagnostic modality, you are talking about maybe the device, transplant, anything, right? So that would be your intervention. And then C for comparison or control. So maybe you are comparing the male and female, you are comparing the elderly versus the adult, you are comparing group A versus group B. So that everything would be coming into your title. Title means your subject, your question will be decided based on because, right? O is outcome. What kind of outcome you are looking for? Positive outcome, mortality, morbidity, or negative outcome, or maybe rehospitalization, or comparison of the drugs, efficacy, whatever. There should be some outcome. And then S, study design. PICO is actually four, stands for four, what we say alphabets only, PICO. But recently they have added S also, because S for study design. What kind of study design you are looking for, right? So like if I'm talking about systematic reviews, I'll include maybe only the interventional clinical trials, or maybe the randomized control trials, or maybe the cohort studies only, or nowadays there are the systematic reviews on case reports, right? So what kind of study you are including, and if you are conducting an original research, then what kind of study you are doing. Original research, observational, interventional, community trials, or randomized control trials, or case series, or case control, cross-sectional, whatever, right? You have to decide that, and you have to mention in the topic or the question, and then you have to decide the outline, what exactly you will do, right? So you have decided a topic or question. First step, this is just planning part. First step, you got familiar with your interest, assignment, or subject. Second thing is you chose a research topic or question based on PICO's guidelines, and the PICO's guidelines were based on the complete feasibility check. Okay, feasibility check is very, very important and must before conducting a research or before conducting any kind of review paper. Suppose I am I'm thinking of doing a systematic review for specifically a rare disease, right? How can I do that if study material is not available for that? How can I do that if there are no studies on that? How can I do a systematic review? There are only few cases, 1 or 2 or 4 cases. How can I do the systematic review? So feasibility check is very, very important, right? If you have sufficient things before start writing or before going for research, you must do the feasibility check. Feasibility check not in the sense of if you have the available data. Feasibility check means if you have the available resources. If you are conducting an original research, let me tell you guys, feasibility check is very important. If you have the proper resources, if you have the proper help, if you have the proper funds, everything, if you have the proper patients or certain amount of patients, or if you can achieve the sample size whatever you got, those everything will be checked before starting the research. Otherwise you will not get the successful results, or you will be stuck somewhere in between, or it will not be completed within the timelines. Okay, that's how feasibility check is very important. Similarly, for the review paper, systematic reviews, for commentaries, anything, it is very important to check the feasibility. There are certain different feasibilities for all the things, but the feasibility check is very, very important, right? And third part now it comes is conduct the preliminary research. What is preliminary research? The review literature. It's not that you will not do the preliminary research here. Okay, research topic or research question, how will you get that? You will definitely get with the help of research, but you will not do the strategic research or strategic literature search here at the step 1 or 2. Okay, now once you are done with the question, then you have to go for strategic research. Okay, then you have to go for strategic research, means the review of literature. And strategic research, you I think have got the enough information yesterday. Like you have to go for the keywords, you have to go for the databases, correct databases, and you have to keep the correct Boolean operators. Now you conducted the preliminary research, you got your data. Okay, now organize your research. That's very important. Now I'll explain how to organize your research. Suppose I am writing one review paper. I'm writing one review paper on suppose Arni. If you have aware of, I'll explain it in the simple words. You must have heard of sacubitril and valsartan drug. That is the new drug. I mean, the category is Arni. Okay, the category is Arni, neprilysin inhibitors and valsartan, right? So those drugs are new and have having the promising outcomes in heart failure. Suppose I want to conduct the systematic review on the efficacy of sacubitril and valsartan in suppose heart failure with preserved ejection fraction, one type of heart failure. So understand my question? My question is finding, the efficacy of sacubitril and valsartan in heart failure with preserved ejection fraction patients. That's my question. And that question came from the step 2. Now third thing is, based on the keywords, I did the preliminary research. I got 100 papers. What I have to go through. Okay, I got 100 papers. Out of that, I have to keep 20 papers for the analysis. Right, in the systematic review, I have to keep the 20 papers for the analysis. So what I will do and how will I organize? First of all, I will read the titles of those papers which I got. Definitely those are associated, right? Those are linked with my research. And then I'll be reading the abstract. And out of reading the rest, abstract, when I'm reading the abstract, I'll be looking for the most relevant articles and the least relevant articles. I'll make the list of those. Okay, like whichever is the most relevant article, whichever is the least relevant article, and then I will start writing. So what I'll do is, first 5 articles I'll keep in one folder, rest 95 articles I'll keep in another folder, right? And I will give them the rank 1 2 3 4 5 all. Okay, that is how you organize. That is one step of one type of organizing the research. I'll explain all how you can organize differently. So first thing is, you rank all the articles, like suppose not 100 articles, 20 articles only. So if you are getting 20 articles to write in your research, then rank those 20 articles based on the priority writing, or based on the relevance. Okay, this article is 100% relevant, this article is 95% relevant, this article is 90% relevant. So based on the relevancy, give the numbers, and then one by one get the content out of those and write that. Okay, get the content out of that, and then write. Right, this is the first strategy, and you may be following that or not. Second strategy is, when I am writing about the heart failure and sacubitril valsartan, so what I'll do is, I have the outline with me. Okay, I have the outline with me, and then I will distribute my research. What I'll do is, I will distribute my research means the papers, into the parts. Not one paper into the parts, but entire research, like 100 papers. I will divide those 100 papers into different sections. Like this is related to heart failure with preserved ejection only. This is related to sacubitril valsartan efficacy. These are the company monographs. These are the things which are related to pathophysiology. These are the things which are related to the efficacy, or these are the things related to outcomes. Okay, and then section by section I will start writing. I will read. I will do nothing but filtering my research and keeping in the different folders. This folder has all about pathophysiology. This filter has all about sacubitril valsartan. This filter has all about heart failure. This filter has all about outcomes. This filter has all about the diagnosis. Then with the outline, I will take out the one by one papers and write those. Why organizing the research is important? Suppose if you have 100 papers without name in one folder, and see, definitely you cannot write the entire paper in one day, right? So every time you will be reading all the papers, every time you will be opening the paper and seeing what I have written yesterday, which paper I have to go tomorrow, which I have to write today. So that organization, that will take most of your time, that will consume most of your time. So always filter out, okay, always filter out and organize your research correctly, so you don't have to waste your time in finding the articles and finding the material, correct material and associated material and related material. Okay, that's why organizing your research is very important. So first thing you can do is either based on the priority, based on the relevancy, based on the outline, or based on the paper directly. Okay, this paper, this articles, will be kept in the introduction and discussion. These articles will be kept only in the discussion. These articles will be kept only in the introduction. These articles are just followed to support, or maybe another strategy, these are supporting my research, these are not supporting my research. So you can filter out, you can organize your research anytime. Okay, with your strategy you can make your own strategy to organize your research, but it is important to organize your research. Okay, organize your literature, so you don't have to waste most of the time in searching the literature. Or sometimes what the people do is they don't download the articles, or they don't get the articles in hand or in computer. What they do is they always go to the Google. Okay, I was reading this article yesterday, I'll get it again tomorrow, and tomorrow it's not available at all, or tomorrow it's paid. How will you do that? Not at all. So you have to get your research done in prior. You have to organize your research to avoid the the wastage of time, right? So everything is very important when you are organizing your research, right? So till now you have done nothing in writing. You have not written a single word, but you have done a lot of work, and majority of the work you got familiar, you know what have to write. Okay, it's there in your mind, everything. I think till now you have set up what you have to write, how you have to write. You got the entire flow chart in your brain, how you have to write the manuscript. Okay, you got your research topic, you conducted the research, you organized the research. That means you know how to write, you have your proper outline. So framing a thesis statement is nothing but now you are defining how exactly you are writing. Fifth and sixth step are nothing but you are keeping those keeping that flow chart out on the paper or out on a word file, right? Out on a word file, that what exactly, how exactly you are planning it, what exactly the outline would be, right? What exactly you are going to write it. So thesis statement is nothing but it will be hypothesis. Okay, it will be the hypothesis, like at the end what you are expecting, how you are connecting the dots, what exactly your research will do, or what exactly your review paper will come at the end, and how exactly, what exactly the readers will get from your paper. Okay, so when you have that hypothesis or thesis statement in your mind, that means you are getting everything in the one shape, and based on that you can create or you can recreate your outline for writing the paper. Okay, so I think till now you have done a lot of work, and now you have full-fledged outline in the word file or on the paper. Okay, you have full-fledged outline on the paper. Now it's not in your brain also, you will not forget. You have everything in front of you in your computer or on the paper, right? So now nothing to do, the planning part is done. Just what you have to do is start writing. Okay, start writing, write or create the initial draft. Just get the reference, write, get the reference, write, whatever is coming, whatever was there, write. Okay, start writing. So always give around 60 to 70% or 80% of time in the planning. Okay, writing part will not take much time. And believe me, if you are doing everything in 2 months, I mean the planning part and everything you have done, you have taken 40 or 45 days, then rest 15 days you can write your complete paper, I'm very sure. And if you start writing from the first day, like, okay, I'll write 2 lines from the online paper, 2 lines from this paper, and you have not organized outlines, you have not organized the research, I'm very sure it will take 4 months, not 2 months at all, because you will not get the perfect draft at the end. Okay, because your draft has been created here only in this slide. In first 6 steps, you have the perfect draft in your hand. Okay, you just have to put the content in this, you just have to throw the lines, you just have to throw the content information into this. That's all that you can do while you are writing, because everything was in your mind, everything is there in your mind what to write, and now you have outline on the paper in the Word file. You just have to write, write, and then once you initiate the once you are done with the first draft, read your draft by yourself. Okay, first thing is read your draft by yourself. I kept this step very much intentionally because reading your draft is very boring. Okay, reading your own draft is very boring, I'm telling you. But when you are reading your own draft, you will be finding the exact problems. What exactly did you miss here? Okay, what exactly you must have mentioned? What extra you have written here? Those things you only can make out, no one else. Okay, so after writing the first draft, read your draft by yourself. If you are doing that, you are removing 50% of the errors right away. Okay, and I will say read it again and again until you are not satisfied. So that's there in the next step. Revise and edit, revise and edit. Revise and edit is not only the one step, but this is the cycle of steps. Repeatedly you have to do it. You have to revise, you have to edit, you have to revise, you have to edit until and unless you are not satisfied. So your writing part will be done in a certain very limited time. 10 to 15% of the time will be just the writing part. If you have the perfect planning part, you will be writing your manuscript in a certain very limited time, very small time. Okay, read, revise, edit. Once you are done with the editing part, now the manuscript is done. The first draft of manuscript is done from your side. It will go to the proofread. Okay, it will go to the proofread. So proofread has multiple steps. You have to revise by yourself, and you have to check for the grammar. You have to check for the sentences, incomplete sentences. There must be some incomplete sentences maybe, and some grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes. So at this point of time, you can use the softwares like plagiarism checkers. You can use the Grammarly. You can use some tools. You can use some other things to create your to check the grammar or plagiarism. And once again, edit it completely. Okay, once again edit it, and now this is the time to send it for the review. Okay, this is the time to send it for the review and certainly submit it to the journal. Okay, this is the end process. Here you can give it for the peer review. Peer review means by yourself. If you are submitting to the appropriate journal, that will definitely go to the peer reviews. But before submitting it to the journal, if you are a student, if you are a colleague, if you have a team, definitely every part of the team, every person in the team, everyone in the team must review the manuscript. They will be checking it with their own views, with their own opinions. Okay, with their own expertise. They'll be using their own expertise to check the spelling, grammar, everything. Okay, once you are done with that, then submit it to the appropriate journal. So one small tip here based on the experiences again, guys, don't give it to everyone. Okay, sometimes there are the chances of stealing the idea. There are the chances of stealing the manuscript. There are the chances of if you are giving your friends or your colleagues who are not happy with you, then they might be getting the idea. They might be getting the manuscript and publishing it before you. Okay, so give it to your guide, your very believable people, your very faithful people, and then submit it to the appropriate journal once your review is done. And I'm very sure once the publication once the review process is done from the journal side, they will send some comments, maybe minor comments or major comments. Read those comments carefully and revise the manuscript and submit again, and it will be accepted. Okay, it will be accepted. So this fourth part is nothing but the post writing part and post proofreading part. So this is called as the post proofreading. Proofread also is the part of writing, right? So after proofreading, this is the post writing and submission, and your paper is published, right? So you will get, that's how you get your paper done, your manuscript written in the good form, in the acceptable form, and definitely it will be accepted, right? So first of all, four important things you have to remember when I'm talking about acceptable manuscript, when I'm talking about the good paper. By following these steps, I'm very sure you will get it. Okay, so first important lesson from these steps is that your title, that your objective, that your topic, that your question on which you are conducting the research or review paper or systematic review will be perfect, because you will be doing it with the feasibility check. Okay, don't do it without feasibility check, right? If you are doing it without feasibility check, the content will not have that power to get it published. After that, maybe you are following all the steps, you skip the first step and second step, and you are following all 12 steps, it will not get it published, it will not get it to the journal also, because you have missed the major part. Major part is checking the feasibility, checking the correctability, checking the relatability, checking the correct audience, checking the pico. Okay, so that's how the first lesson, you have to check the feasibility, and then you have to follow all the all the steps. And second thing is, if you have a good topic with you, you got the good topic, and you are skipping the proper literature search and organizing the research, it may lose a lot of time, and it may lose, it may it may get you into that what we say, loss of time and loss of connecting the dots, and a lot of things can happen at that time. So you will not be able to connect the dots if you are not organizing the things, if you are not writing the outline, right? So following every step is important, but checking the feasibility one, checking the organizing the research, writing the outline, and then proofreading. Okay, these four things are very, very important when you are writing, when you are following these steps. And you are following these steps means ultimately you will be coming with a coming up with a wonderful paper, with the good title, with the good feasibility check, and which has the novelty, which has some relevancy to the subject, to the society, to anyone, and no one will be rejecting it. So you, first of all, what you are avoiding here, you will be avoiding getting some bullshit data, bullshit topic or title, and someone is telling, okay, go with this topic and write the review paper. Don't do this. Do a perfect research on that. If you are writing a review paper, not accepted, not publishing anywhere, and you are ending up publishing in some predatory journal with a lot of money, lot of costs, then there is no use, right? There is no use of that at all, right? So if you are following these steps, you can come up with the perfect research papers. That's my guarantee, right, guys? So that's all. And then each step is described here. I already did it, but first of all, get familiar with your with the interest or assignment or the subject. So many, that's, see, I have mentioned just now, many researchers skip this step, and they get low grades or the marks, low grades and the marks were either by the guide, by the colleagues, or by the observer, or if not, if you're writing a review paper, then by the reviewer. Okay, and then they work hard and they are very much excited about, but they didn't read the instructions properly, so they get it nowhere. They get it nowhere. They have worked hard, as I'm telling you, you will be working hard, starting writing from the first day and writing till the fourth month, but at the end there are no connecting dots. What's the use? So use the proper strategy, use the proper strategy to write it, make the proper outline, check the feasibility, get the perfect topic, and then start writing, proofread, and then publish. Okay, so if you are not strategizing your steps, then no use. Okay, so before you start, what you have to keep in mind: assignment goals, maybe deadlines, style or pattern of the writing, formatting, length specifications by the journals, material and methods, submission, how to do the submission, what should be the submission guidelines. Those you have to keep in mind always. Okay, so make a bulleted list. As I'm telling, make a bulleted list of the key points, then go back and cross complete it on as you are writing. So cross check all the items again and again. Suppose you have done with the introduction, I mean, suppose you have done with the feasibility check it out. You have done with the literature search, check it out. You have done with the outline, check it out. You have done with the first draft, check it out. Okay, and go back and check what's remaining, okay, in the checklist. So make a checklist and then follow the checklist. You will be definitely do it perfectly. Then choose a research topic. So choose a research topic. I think I have discovered, I have already discussed. Always, as I told, discover, narrow down properly, and make it focused with the top feasibilities. Okay, so that topic through any time is not needed. Okay, so it is important to be engaged yourself completely, but don't have to love it. That I'll explain later. Third thing is conduct the preliminary research. So preliminary research, I think we have done yesterday properly, right? So use the keywords and then organize your research, grouping, sequences, documenting information. It could be based on different things, maybe the card, maybe the relatives, relativity, maybe the priority, maybe the system of making notes, like what kind of things, maybe the outlines or anything. You can make the groups, sequence, and documenting the information accordingly. That's what I explained, right? Framing a thesis statement. Thesis statement is nothing but the central argument of your article, right? Central argument of your article, which will be talking about the position and purpose of your paper, and it will catch the audiences. So audiences will understand what exactly this paper is going to tell, what exactly we are getting from the paper. So it will be talking about the outcomes of the paper. So how you are ending the paper, how you are getting what you are getting through the paper. Thesis statement means the hypothesis. Okay, then create a research paper outline. So different outlines are there. Outline for a case report, I discussed, and outline of an original article also I discussed. First is introduction, then IMRAD guidelines. IMRAD guidelines usually we follow. So let me take a little time of time here at the IMRAD guidelines. So when we are writing the original article, we usually follow the IMRAD guidelines. These are especially only for IMRAD guidelines, not for the review papers, not for the case report. So what exactly is IMRAD? So I told therefore yesterday also in the class, I stands for introduction, M stands for material and methods, R stands for results, D stands for discussion. And along with that, you have to write the conclusion, limitations and strengths, acknowledgements, conflict of interest, bibliography, everything. But IMRAD is very important to write. Introduction, I explained what are the sections of introduction. Material methods, very important. In that, you have to explain everything in the material and methods. Very there are multiple terms what you have to write in the material and methods. And what are those things you have to write in the material methods, and what you have to focus in the material methods. These are very important things. As see, as I told you that day also, there are multiple things. Yeah, why it's not working. Okay, so material methods, first thing is like your study site. Okay, study site, then study design. Okay, study design, what kind of design you followed, then your maybe the population. Okay, population means your inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria. Okay, and then after the population, you have to write about the intervention if you are following anything. Okay, intervention. Then in that, what is the parameters observed? Parameters observed means if you are first you are getting the demographics, then anthropometrics, then the social habits, then the medication history. Oh, I think I've changed the slides. So the medication history, and then diagnosis. I mean, whatever is there, parameters, whatever you are choosing, you have to write that. Okay, and then after that, very importantly, you have to talk about the ethical considerations. Okay, you have to talk about the ethical considerations. 1 second, guys. I'm not in pro in that. Still, I'm using. Okay, ethical considerations. Okay, from where you get the ethical approval. And then after that, very importantly, you have to talk about the statistical tests. Okay, like what kind of statistical test you used. Okay, statistical test, whatever, you have to write, and what kind of software you used. Okay, so that all will come into the material and methods. That all will come in your material and methods, guys, right? And then you will go to the results, and results should follow these things only, like your objectives and your aim and objectives. So based on the objectives, you will be writing your results. So before aims and objectives, what you will do is you will write about the population, and then you will start writing the results about objective 1, objective 2, or primary objective, secondary objectives. Okay, like that you have to do. Okay, and then the discussion must follow the objectives, like you are talking about population first, and then objective first, then objective 2, objective 3, or maybe the major objective, or the the secondary objectives, right? Is the material and methods as same as in the research proposal as well? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Material and methods also are same in the research proposal also. Okay, and then limitations I talked about yesterday, and strengths also we have discussed there for yesterday. Acknowledgement, conflict of interest. So this is about the original research paper, and then the review paper outlines. Review paper outlines I have already discussed. There is nothing but introduction or background, and then body, like headings, subheadings, and conclusion, and then future directions maybe. And then now the step 7, 8, and 9. Importantly, I want to talk here about a little bit more. So when you start writing, the planning part is done now. Now it is the time to write, right? So you have everything in your mind. You have outline with you, you have feasibility check, you have title with you, you have aims and objectives, everything. You have organized your research. Now what you have to do is just write. And when you are writing, keep in mind, don't be a perfectionist. Okay, you don't have to be perfectionist, just write. Don't worry about finding the perfect words, or using the perfect grammar, or crafting the perfect line, because you are going to edit it. Okay, you are going to edit it. So make the first draft very casual. Okay, remember guys, make the first draft very casual, and because there is a time to perfect your research paper as you edit it again and again. Okay, and then right now you just need to write, because the time will come to edit it. Okay, limit yourself according to the requirement of words, according to requirements of lines, and whatever you have mentioned before, or whatever you have fixed before, then you can just do it. Okay, now you will do the editing part. So editing means for the grammar, for the scientific and professional language, for incomplete or unnecessary sentences. So if you want to remove something, remove. If you want to add something, add. If you want to check the grammar, you check the grammar for for the spellings, for the sentence mistakes, for the punctuations, everything at this time. Okay, in this step only. I mean this the writing part only, right? And then the later part is, so here you can see no copy paste. Okay, I mean, what is that? No copy paste. Definitely you should avoid, because plagiarism is a criminal offense, if I say. Okay, then 10, 11, I mean, your proofreading is nothing but for the grammar and all the things. And then plagiarism check, there are two major softwares. One is Turnitin, one is Authenticate. As I always mention in my classes, there are two major plagiarism checkers. One is Turnitin, one is Authenticate. Okay, if you are following those things, you have to keep it in mind. For your papers, it should be less than 10%. For your thesis, usually some universities leave it up to 15%, some universities leave it up to 10% only. So your plagiarism should not be more than 10% in the research papers. Okay, and the 13, 14, 15, definitely you should read the instructions of the journal and make your paper accordingly and submit it to the journal. So what exactly you have to keep in mind when you are submitting the journal, or when you are reading the journal instructions, very importantly, you have to read the instructions of the instructions for the author from each journal wherever you are submitting. Prepare your manuscript accordingly. Okay, so one important tip I want to give you here: you can make your paper in the given format. Okay, any format for any journal. You just, what exactly is the difference in different journals? They just have the different policies for the referencing and citation. Some journals they want in Vancouver style, some journals they want in Harvard style, some journals they want in MLA style, some journals they want in APA style. Okay, so you just have to change the referencing at the end and submit it to other journal. Some journals they want a structured abstract, some journals they want unstructured abstract. That's all is the difference between the journals. Okay, some journals want the figures in the manuscript, some journals wants to submit the figures separately. These are the only technical differences between the journals. Otherwise, there is no major changes in the content. You don't have to change the content at all. Either you have to change the you have to remove the headings from the abstract, or you have to remove the pictures and tables from the manuscript and submit it separately, or maybe you have to change the style of your referencing. These three are the major changes in your submission in the journals, different journals. Otherwise, there are no differences. There are same manuscript. Every manuscript is same for every journal. Okay, so one manuscript can be submitted to any journal, just have to change if they want. That would be either the abstract type of abstract, or maybe the figure separately or including in the manuscript, or maybe the referencing style. Okay, now I'll tell you, someone has asked me in the last class when I'm talking about abstract, someone has asked me about what abstract? Structured and structured. What abstract did you ask? I forgot. What kind of abstract was there? Someone has asked me about the abstract something. Oh, graphical abstracts. Absolutely, graphical abstract. So graphical abstract is absolutely nothing but summary of the paper. Summary of the paper, make it either in the graphical form or in the pictorial form. Okay, pictorial form. Okay, you just have to make the certain flow charts, maybe the flow chart, or maybe the methodology, or maybe the prisma, or maybe the main conclusion in one chart form or figure form. Okay, maybe when it differs if I'm talking about a systematic review writing. Okay, if I'm writing a systematic review and meta-analysis, I can keep my prisma as the graphical abstract. If I'm writing if I'm presenting something like maybe the pathophysiology, then I can make one flow chart or one picture including the pathophysiology. Okay, I mean showing the pathophysiology of the disease. Or if I'm talking about the side effects, then I can make one picture picture or flow chart of the side effects. Okay, or maybe the contraindications, or I can make the make the flow chart or one picture of anything which is majorly indicated. Okay, which is what we say, showing the conclusion or showing the major objective. Okay, just you have to make the flow chart or the paper or prisma and make it as an abstract. Okay, make it as abstract. So definitely your contextual abstract will be also published. Your contextual abstract means the theoretical abstract also will be published, but that the what we say that your what we say that your graphical presentation of the abstract or graphical presentation of the article will be there just in one picture. So that will be showing your entire thing like what you have done. Okay, so that is nothing important. Literally, that is nothing important. If you are asking for graphical thing, you can just make your any specific or any major thing or any major pathophysiology, mechanism, prisma chart, methodology, anything. You just make a flow chart or the paper or the picture format and publish it. Okay, you can make it anywhere in the GraphPad Prism, or you can make it in the Excel sheet, or maybe you can make it in the print, what we say, not print, the painting. Okay, you can make it in the paint also. So it depends. Only few journals ask for the graphical abstract, not every journal. Okay, are raw data or other materials such as questionnaires, tools, patient consent, etc. need to be submitted asked by journal? These are sometimes some journals ask if you are submitting the original research paper. If you are submitting the original research paper, some journals may ask for the data master chart. So they feel like if you have not done the research and you have just made up the data, if you have just made up the results, they ask for the Excel sheet. master chart. Okay, master chart of your data, whatever data you have collected in the Excel sheet, submit that Excel sheet. Otherwise, there are two options. One, you can submit, or one you can say that this is not be this we cannot do publish, or this is confidential, we cannot submit it. Okay, so if the journal agrees to publish your data, publish your paper without the data disclosure, then they will publish. Otherwise, they will say no, we need the Excel form only, or we need the entire data from which you prepared the paper or your results. They need it. Okay, and there are again two options. Either you want to keep it confidential with journal, or you want to make it if you want to disclose it for the public. So it is up to you totally. If you are submitting also your data, your Excel sheet or your master chart, there is no problem. That will be confidential with the journals. And usually don't, every journal don't ask. The nonsense journals, they don't ask. For the Q3, Q2 journals, they don't ask. Only top level journals like New England Journal of Medicine, Lancet, JAMA, and British Medical Journal, Bentham, or Taylor and Francis, they only ask for the data set. Or maybe the Oxford journals or Springer journals, Nature journals, they only ask in that also only few journals, they ask for the data set. Okay, yeah, okay, so they only ask for the data set, right guys? So with that, I have come up with an assignment, because next class will be on Sunday. So please analyze your interest and at least frame a question by upcoming Sunday. Okay, frame a question by upcoming Sunday and write your question in the group, or send it to me personally, no problem. This is totally up to you if you want to do it or not. I really don't mind, but I must believe that everyone will, or everyone should do it, because that will make an exercise. Okay, that will be an exercise for all of you, and you have to put all your efforts to come up with the question. Okay, and not only that, I'll be asking for the justifications. If it is if you are submitting submitting a question, or submitting a title or an objective, anything, whatever you are coming up with, please write some justification. How did you come up with that? What were the feasibility criteria you applied? Okay, so by the Sunday's class, you have 3 more days, I think. So in the next 3 days, come up with a question. Okay, that's the course assignment for today for everyone. So come up with a question by next, or by the upcoming class on Sunday. So with that, thank you very much, and I'll be happy to take the questions, guys. Please ask your questions now. Yes, guys, your questions, please. Is it clear? Guys, is it clear?
I have one just small question, sir.
So I didn't.
Yes, please ask.
Sir, after submitting my review article in free journals, will they ask any money for proofreading, or for checking for any grammatical errors or mistakes?
No, usually don't. They send you the comment if the journal is free. Okay, there are two types of journal. Okay, there are two types of journal, actually 3 types if I say. One is which are charging the money from the author. Okay, it's not like that every top journal is free. Even the top journals are asking the money, because see, publishing is a business. Okay, publishing the papers is a business, and they need the investment. They need the investment to run the entire system, to run the website, to run the pay for the people, to have the human power with them. Okay, so this is a business. They need the money. Okay, so money comes from so let me decode this. Money comes from multiple things. Either journals are from the university side, so university pay for them and they don't charge from the authors, or these are running from the societies like European Society of Cardiology, American College of Cardiology, or maybe other societies, Indian Society of Psychology, or maybe the CSI, Cardiac Society of Cardiac Society of Indian Society of Pharmacology, Indian Society of Regulatory Affairs. So those are paid from the society and they don't charge the money from the author. Okay, that is one thing. And if they are not sponsored by anyone, they are asking the money from the author. Okay, and there is nothing wrong, because they have to run the entire system. They have to pay for the DUI number, they have to pay for the government approvals, they have to pay for the prints, they have to pay for the publisher, they have to pay for the machines, they have to pay for the website. Everything is there. They have to pay for the designers, they have to pay for the person who are working with them, persons who are working with them, right? But in that, if they are not charging from the author, then they are charging from the reader. Okay, so one thing, either they are getting the funds from somewhere, university, society, or anywhere, or they are charging the authors, and if not, then they are charging from the reader. Like, they will publish your paper free of cost, and whoever is accessing your paper later, they have to pay for it. So you must have seen some papers, when you are accessing, they will be charging $30 for 24 hours, or $50 or $60 for lifetime download. Okay, you might have seen that, right? So that is called the subscription based. Okay, so they will not charge from the authors, they will charge completely, they will publish completely free, they will not charge from you, but they will charge from the reader. And some journals, they will charge from the author, and they will make your paper completely free for everyone. That is called as open access journal. So open access journals charge from the author, and it will be free for everyone. But subscription based journals, they charge from the reader, and they leave the charges, they leverage the charges for the authors. Okay, so that's how it works. So before submitting the paper, just look into the policies and find out if it is paid by the author, or if it is subscription based, if it is open access or subscription based. So there are different things. Even the open access journals, where nobody has to pay, but that things are paid by the society, or from the funds, which are donations maybe, or funds. So that also can be done. But always check if it is a subscription based, or if it is the open access and author has to pay something, right? And for the other services, if it is you might be maybe in the trap. If they're asking for some kind of charges for your proofread, you tell them, I'll get it proofread by myself, or with the native speaker, and then I'll submit again, and then you publish. That you can do. That can be done. Nobody will ask you, nobody will force you that only they can do the proofreading. Not at all, it's not possible. They don't do. Journals cannot do that.
Yes, sir.
That might be a trap, or maybe the predatory journal. Okay, so somebody is saying most of the journals are not interested for review. Go for the Taylor and Francis, go for the Bentham journals, go for the what is that, yeah, WOS journals. Okay, there are the publishers which are dying. Go for the Springer journals. There are the journals which are dying for review papers. Okay, there are a lot of journals which are publishing only review papers. No, that's not true, that most of the journals are not interested. You are not getting the correct journal. You are just searching for the journal which are interested only in publishing original papers, and you are trying publishing your review paper. That's not acceptable. They will not accept it, right? So you have to get the correct journal. Okay, that I'll tell you in my last class, definitely, that how you should get your perfect journal, which journal you should target. Otherwise you will end up sending your manuscript in 5, 6, 7 journals and getting rejected, and at the end you will say, oh, this manuscript I am not submitting anymore, and you will give up. And the problem exactly is not from the journals. Problem is in you, because you are not selecting the correct journal. You are not getting the correct journal to publish your manuscript, because the journals are very specific, based on the subject area, based on the topic, based on the type of article, based on the their publication number, based on their impact factors, based on the content that I'm going to tell you in when you are looking for the journal selection. Okay, so selecting is a journal very important. It's a very important topic. How to get full paper unpaid journals. That you have to do. You have to find out the journal, relevant journal, and then you have to go to the journal's website, author's instruction, and if it is paid or unpaid, you have to check it one by one. First you have to check that. I'll tell like how to get the interested journals, make a list and search one by one, and if then find out if it is paid or not, and I'll tell you where to get those things. Okay, don't worry. Yes, absolutely. Can we do citation to review research papers? Yes, absolutely. Citation can be done for research papers, citation can be done for case reports, citation can be done for commentary, anywhere. It can be done for systematic review papers, anything. Citations are very important. Citation, any kind of scientific research paper is a citation. Okay. Even the citations can be done for what? Citation means if you are taking the information from anywhere, if you are taking it from the website also, you have to cite it. If you are taking from the letter to editor, you have to cite it. Citation is important. Citation is not the subject of can we get or not. Citation is the matter of giving the credits. That's very important. And I told you in the first class, giving the credits is not only beneficial for you, but it is beneficial for others also. I mean, it is not beneficial for others only, but it is beneficial for you only. If sometimes if you have written something wrong, then you can justify, this is not my sentence, this I have quoted from here. You are giving the reference from where you are getting the content, your information, right? So it is very important to cite everything, whatever you are writing, if it is not your opinion. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Pooja.
Sir, in today's presentation, I couldn't able to understand the point 3 and point 6.
Point 3 and point 6. Let me see.
Point 6 was something like, what was that?
Outline.
Create a research paper outline, but there was one specific page in, there's a specific slide where it was explained entirely. Like number 1, you have explained entire thing and all.
I have explained the most about the outlines only, Pooja. See.
No, sir, the step is clear. The thing is that the slide number 3 and 6. Yeah.
No, correct.
This one.
No, this I told. When see, I don't, slides are just for the references. I don't use the slides usually in my teaching. I don't use all the slides. So I have explained all the upcoming slides here only in these 2 slides only. I have explained the entire content which is written here. That is the different technical content, and I have explained it in the very easy way here in the slide number, slide here in the steps only.
So this part is clear. My doubt is, please go to 3, this one.
Yeah,
okay.
so
Actually, I'm writing this out because I don't remember so many things at a time. So that's why I'm making few points.
No, here is nothing. See, here there is nothing. Why I have skipped this? Because you have understood that in the yesterday's class. Yesterday, Dr. Siddesh has clearly, told what is primary literature, what is secondary literature, what is gray literature, what is the review.
Yeah, that is been done.
Everything is done. Okay, and then what I was telling about is you have to find, when you are talking about the topic or literature, you have to find the correct literature. You have to select that. You have to read the resources. How do you read that? That also I told about from the abstract, from the title, then abstract, then paper. You have to find it based on the relevancy. So I made it very clear. Don't go to the content, whatever is written here. Don't look into this.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? I see, guys, I'm the person who don't believe in the slides. Believe me, I don't go with the slides when I'm teaching.
So I have one more doubt.
Yes, Pooja, please tell me.
Recently I started my writing research paper.
Okay.
Like there was a journal like neuroscience.
Okay.
And they have different criteria. Like you need to submit your introduction to reference in a different format, like PDF or Word format. And they asked title, acknowledgement, and conflict of interest in another folder. Then after that, what I observe is they always ask table and figure in separate folder.
That's okay. See.
But sir, the format and the we'll be assigning there 1.2, 2.2. The flow will be missed.
No, flow will not be missed at all. See, whatever 3 things, remember, I told you about the components in the second class, components of the manuscript. Those components will come in the same format, in the same flow, everywhere, in every paper. whether it is coming from the Journal of Neurosurgery, Neurology, or whatever you are targeting. It is just the format the journals are applying while you are submitting the paper. Okay, they may ask you to submit introduction separately, methodology separately, scientific, the review of literature separately, discussion separately, tables separately, references separately, no matter, but the paper will end up in the one format only. Every format, every component will be there. So you have to write all the components. So make your manuscript whatever according to the format. Okay, maybe you are submitting separate parts or in ones, that doesn't matter.
But
That is
how
just,
could they know that this table of content will be there in this part? And
that is the journal's headache, because they have the algorithm like that. The paper, when it will go to the reviewer, that will go in one PDF only. Don't worry about that. That is the journal's format of getting the content, getting the information, or filtering the information. Because when you are writing, some journals are asking entire manuscript with the tables, figures, with the author's name, everything in once. You submit the entire PDF or Word file and done. Some journals, then the first scenario, when you are submitting everything in once, then what the journal editor or the reviewers have to do is they have to remove the author's part, they have to remove the affiliation part, they have to remove the introduction, they have to remove the conclusion, and then they have to remove the hospital name, methodology, first part. Then they will send for the reviewer. Okay, because reviewing is the independent process. Some journals are asking in the separate forms, separate sections, so they will be sending to the reviewer only the sections which are needed. They will not send everything. So this is the automation process. You don't have to worry about. You don't think how they are doing. Okay, you just think how you
okay.
are submitting. The format will be one only. When you are writing, write in one format, and you submit in 10 parts, doesn't matter, because at the end that automation part will come up with the exact paper, exact format only. That is just the AI or automation. So editors, journals, publishers, what they do is they make it automated. Everything is automated. The journal, the website will take the things differently, and at the end they will be sending to a reverse differently. But when they are publishing, that will come in one format only.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so don't worry
so
about the submission process.
sir, then publishing, especially researcher review in Indian journal is better than some other like American, Italic, European journals.
I didn't understand that,
So
literally.
suppose if we are writing our research paper or any kind of review paper, okay.
Okay.
So if is there is any like importance or differentiate between European journal, American journal, and Indian journal, which is
So
the
you are telling the Indian
better?
journals are good in acceptance.
I don't know, sir. I have not submitted yet,
No,
so that's why.
what exactly you are asking? I didn't understand your question only.
Sir, which journal is better for publishing, whether Indian,
No,
American, or
this is
European?
not the criteria by countries. This is not the criteria by countries. If you see, I'm
So
telling you.
dollars get varied, so that is the issue.
No. Indian journals are asking in the dollars. See, you don't know. That's why I'm telling you, when I'm talking about in the next class, when I'm talking about journals, you'll be see a lot of surprising facts that Indian publishers are having the journal names like European Bulletin. Indian journals are having the name of like international journal, global journal, and they are asking in the dollars. And their representatives are sitting in US, or they are having the US number and talking to you from the Chandigarh or from the Delhi or from the Bhopal. You will not understand from where they are talking to you. They don't have the perfect publishing address. So all journals, I'm telling you, the journal business is happening from China and India. Okay, because the publishing costs are very less here. And I'm talking about the predatory one. Okay, so that all dhanda is happening from India and China, because they are getting a lot of money out of it. Out of this section, they're getting a lot of money. Only good journals are there. Okay, only some certain good journals are there, certain upcoming good journals are there. I'm not telling everyone is that, but there is most of the time, if you see the journal name is like Global Chemical Bulletin, European Chemical Bulletin, European certain bulletin, and you will be seeing the publisher is from Bhopal. Okay, and they are charging in the dollars. Their number of communication is given from the Sweden or from the New York or somewhere. So that's a business. Don't go to that. I'll tell you how to get the journals. Just focus on 3 things: indexation, impact factor, and if the journals are literally good, following the certain parameters that I'm going to discuss in our journal class. Okay.
Okay, sir. But what I found is recently I found 0.9 impact factor. I forgot the journal name. They are costing 49,000.
No idea.
And in elsewhere, they probably charge $2,000.
No, elsewhere most of the journals are free. Most of the elsewhere journals, almost all the elsewhere journals have 2 models. I mean, all the journals, they have 2 models. If they are not open access, usually they follow all the formats, open access also, subscription based also.
Okay, so can you show on upcoming classes like how we'll identify?
Absolutely. I'm going
Okay,
to.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone? Any other questions? Any other questions, guys? Okay. If no, then thank you very much and have a good night. Take care, guys. Take care. Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Okay. Bye bye. See you on the Sunday and come up with the question at least. Bye.